Have you ever heard a hum through your bedroom wall? Last night I did not just any tune, but the exact one my father used to hum when he tucked me in. A tune I haven't heard since he died. Without thinking, I hummed back. And now, the girl inside that wall won't leave me alone. My room shares a wall with the apartment next door, an apartment that's been empty for months. I thought the old woman who lived there had gone on vacation or moved out or died. The place was silent, always silent. At least it was. Until last night as I lay in the dark, I heard a familiar lullaby humming through my wall. The same tune my father used to hum when I was small. I reacted without thinking. The melody wrapped itself around me, warm and painful. And before I even realized it, I hummed the next line back. The moment the sound left my lips, I couldn't move. I leaned toward the wall, barely breathing. "Hello?" I whispered. That's when the humming shifted. What had sounded like a little girl now grew slower, stretched thinner, like someone dragging the tune through their teeth. Each note dipped lower, trembling, twisting, until the melody began bending into something that shouldn't have been possible. Something that almost sounded like my name. At first, I told myself it was my imagination, or maybe air in the walls. It was probably side effects of the movies I had watched earlier. Anything normal, anything safe. But then the sound repeated. The same tiny hums, same rhythm, same spacing, like a little girl practicing a song she wasn't supposed to know. Half asleep and not thinking straight, I thought it was cute. A little girl humming at such an hour. It was so sweet. It made me wonder about the distortion I heard when she first hummed. I hummed the pattern back. The same rhythm, the same gentle rise at the end. The response was instant. The wall answered with a soft, close hum. As if a small mouth was pressed right against the plaster, waiting for me to join in again. I should have stopped. Every instinct in me said to stop. But the sound, it didn't feel threatening. It felt playful, soft, shy, almost like the little girl humming was trying to get my attention. So I hummed back again. Just 3 notes, light, curious. This time, the answer came faster, higher pitched, sharper. The hum trembled through the wall like her tiny lips pressed against my earlobes. Then the sounds became muffled, like a child trying not to laugh. And then I heard it. A giggle. Not the weary laugh of the old woman who used to live next door, but a bright, breathy little girl giggle coming from the apartment that should have been empty. I froze, snapping out of my daze. No children lived on my floor. None. Heart hammering, I slid out of bed and pressed my ear against the wall. The giggling stopped. Silence, thick and heavy. Then a soft hum slithered through the plaster, almost teasing, almost playful. And beneath it, a whisper, fragile, cold, impossibly close, drifted into my ear. Play with me. The hum warped around the words, stretching the melody unnaturally, bending the tune into something that made my stomach tighten. It wasn't singing anymore. It was calling my name. I bolted out of my apartment and pressed my hand against the neighbor's door, hoping for an answer. Nothing. No lights. No sound. Just the hollow silence of an empty hallway. Then, the door creaked open on its own. Just a crack. Just enough to see inside. The apartment was wrong. No furniture. No boxes. No trace of the old woman who had supposedly lived there. Just an empty shell. A perfectly clean, abandoned unit. And somewhere inside, faintly, almost beneath the walls, I thought I heard it again. A soft, high-pitched hum, like a little girl singing, waiting for me. As I returned, I locked myself in my room and tried to steady my breathing. For a while, there was nothing. No sound, no movement, just silence, choking the dark. Then, a little after 3 a.m., the wall hummed again. Not the soft 3-note pattern from before. This time, it came in 9 rapid bursts of breathy humming. Fast, shaky, panicked, like a little girl trying to sing while crying. I turned on my phone's flashlight. It flickered violently. The ceiling let out a slow, heavy groan. And then, I swear on my life, my bed slid an inch across the floor, as if something unseen had pressed against it or crawled beneath it. I whispered, "What do you want?" For a moment, the only answer was silence. Then the hum returned, low, shaky, like a child trying to sing through tears. Soft footsteps followed, light, bare, pacing on the other side of the wall, back and forth, back and forth. Too quick to belong to an adult, too deliberate to be a house noise. The footsteps stopped, and then the humming dragged itself across the wall, stretching into a long, trembling vibration, a sound like a little girl pressing her cheek and lips against the wall, sliding slowly along it, searching. A shadow flickered across my room, not from the hallway, from the wall itself, as if something moved behind it. Then the plaster bulged in one spot. A small outline pushed forward, a child-sized hand, 5 tiny fingers, spreading, feeling, searching for me. I stumbled back. The wall bulged again. This time, a small hand pushed through the plaster, just a few centimeters, but enough to see its shape. The fingers were too thin, almost skeletal, like sticks wrapped in pale, tight skin. They curled inward unnaturally, pointing straight at me, as if deciding whether I was prey or playmate. The shadow behind the hand shifted with it. A tiny figure swayed back and forth, humming the warped lullaby I'd hummed earlier, but slower, drawn out, broken. Then her voice came soft, brittle, almost a whisper carried on the hum. Found you. The hum quivered around the words, stretching the melody into something alive. I bolted out of my room, heart slamming heavily against my ribs. The hallway lights flickered so violently they buzzed, casting jagged shadows that stretched and snapped like something alive. Behind me, in my room, the walls pulsed like breathing skin, the hum trembling through them in quick, frantic bursts. My neighbor's once empty door now hung wide open, yawning into darkness. And from inside that darkness, I heard it, a rapid, frantic series of hums pounding through the walls, as if she were pressing her whole face against the plaster, not from the spot I had run from, not from my room, but from the opposite side of the apartment, the wrong side, as if she had moved through the walls, followed the vibration of my footsteps, and now hummed directly where I stood. Her hum deepened, and objects in the open doorway vibrated, rattling across the floor, as if she were calling me back, as if she knew exactly where I ran. I went down to the security office. "Who lives in that apartment?" I asked. The guard looked confused. "Nobody. It's been empty for 3 years." "What about the old woman?" I asked. He frowned. "There was no old woman." He checked the security feed. My neighbor's apartment door never opened, not once, not even when I saw it open with my own eyes. As I stared at the monitor, the screen flickered. Static crawled across the feed. Then something shifted. A shadow stretched across the hallway floor outside my apartment. Long, thin, and bending at angles a human body shouldn't make. The guard leaned closer. "Is someone there?" he whispered. But the shadow didn't have a source. There was no one at the end of it. No body, no figure, just the shadow, moving. And then, as if reality was correcting itself late, a shape slowly formed at the far end of the hall. The old woman. Except this time, she wasn't smiling. Her body appeared after the shadow, like she was lagging behind her own existence. She turned her head sharply toward the camera, then toward me, and the hallway speakers let out a low, vibrating hum. A warning. A call. I didn't want to return, but I had no choice. Work in the morning, clothes in my room, everything I own. I walked back slowly. The hall was silent. My door was closed. But the second I touched the handle, bang! Something slammed into the wall inside my room. Hard. Bang. Again, like someone was running full speed at the wall. I stepped back from the door. The air in the hallway felt heavy, like the building itself was holding its breath. Bang. The entire frame rattled. Whatever was inside, it wasn't small. And it wasn't afraid. I pressed my palm flat against the door. The wood felt warm. Too warm. Then, all at once, the banging stopped. Silence. A stretched, unnatural silence. I swallowed hard, turned the key, and slowly pushed the door open. My room was dark, still, but in the far corner, just barely visible, something shifted. Not a person, not an animal. A dark shadow, but this one wasn't cast by anything. It was standing upright, waiting, and as I stepped inside, it tilted its head slowly from side to side, as if watching and studying me, like it already knew my shape, like it had been practicing. I whispered, "Please stop," and the shadow stayed still instantly. A small voice whispered back, "Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock." I didn't move. She repeated, louder, "Knock, knock." Then she laughed. The same giggle as the night before. I whispered, "Who's there?" The moment the sound left me, the room shifted. The walls pulsed under my fingertips, like skin trying to breathe. Objects rattled, sliding slightly across the floor. And from the far corner, where shadows pooled, the little girl's hum answered, faster this time, sharper, closer. The shadow moved, stretching taller, tilting its head toward me. The humming bent around the room, circling me, as if she had been waiting for me to call her out. She laughed loudly. As she suddenly appeared, I couldn't make sense of her face. All I could see was the piercing red eyes and wide grin as she said to me. Her voice echoed around the room. Bone deep, I stood still and realized I had just invited her in. Everywhere went silent again, and for a second, it seemed like I was alone in the room. I turned. Slowly, something shifted in the dark beside my bed. A shadow appeared before the body did, stretching across the floor like spilled ink. Then the girl stepped into it, or unfolded out of it. A small figure crouched low, limbs tucked in like a shattered marionette. Her hair hung in wet ropes, dripping onto the floor even though nothing was wet. Her arms bent at angles no arm should bend. Too many joints bending the wrong way. Her head jerked left, right, left, like she was trying to force it upright just to see me. And all the while, she hummed the same tune I'd answered, only now it was slower, dragging, stretched thin like dying breath. The walls behind her pulsed with every note, expanding, then sinking inward. Objects trembled on my desk. The floor vibrated under my legs. Then she spoke, not from her mouth. Her lips never moved. The words seeped out of the walls, vibrating through the plaster, crawling under my skin. "You're the first to ever hum back." The last word rose into a tiny girl's giggle. Soft, bright, completely wrong. I felt sharp fingers on my shoulder, followed by a sharp pain. From my shoulder to my lower back, I could feel my clothes getting wet with my blood. I ran, full speed, barefoot, no keys, no phone. I didn't stop until I reached the parking lot. The night pressed in on me, heavy and suffocating, as if the building itself were holding its breath. Then I heard it, from my bedroom window. It slid open, just a crack, just enough for a small, bony hand to press against the glass. And from it, a soft, deliberate hum. 6 notes, perfectly in rhythm with my racing heartbeat. Hum, 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 hum. The sound vibrated the glass. The walls of the room seemed to pulse in response. And in that instant, I realized she was still there, tracking me, knowing exactly where I ran. I stayed at a friend's house, told them everything. I tried to show them the injury I had been given. It was gone. No proof I got hurt. They laughed it off. At first, said I was sleep deprived, overworked, imagining things. Until 12 a.m. tonight, their bedroom wall, the one connecting to the neighbor's house, began to hum. The same soft notes, childlike, precise, the exact rhythm she used with me. My friend's smile faded. Their eyes widened. I whispered, barely breathing, "Don't hum back." But they did. Just a tiny, nervous hum. Barely a sound. And the wall answered instantly, with a hum so close, so warm. It felt like someone pressing their mouth against the side of our necks. The wall answered immediately. We could feel it in our skins. This time, the hum was more intense. Not playful. Not curious. Fast. Sharp. Hungry. The sound rattled the picture frames. The mattress dipped, as if something sat on it. The lights flickered, not randomly, but in rhythm with the hums, like the room itself was obeying her. My friend stumbled back, eyes wide, mouth shaking, but no sound coming out. Their breath frosted in the air, in a warm room. Then, the humming stopped completely. Silence. A silence so heavy, it felt like being watched by something standing right behind your thoughts. And then, her voice spilled out of the walls, the floor, the ceiling, every direction at once, like she was inside the house's bones. "Found you all." The last word stretched, bending into a tiny giggle, and a second, smaller voice giggled with her. The ceiling above us cracked like a splitting bone. Something crawled across the plaster. Fast, so fast. The dust rained down in thin, shivering lines. We bolted into the living room. The lights spasmed violently, strobing the room in broken flashes. Every shadow stretched the wrong way, toward us. Then the scratching started, not from one spot, circling, racing laps around us inside the walls, inside the ceiling, inside the very frame of the house. It sped up, faster, closer. Then, hum, a single, sharp note right behind my head. So close, I felt the vibration crawl through my skull like tiny cold lips had pressed against the back of my ear and hummed directly into me. My friends screamed. Something in the walls laughed. We sprinted out of the house. Didn't stop, didn't look back. Halfway down the street, everything went silent. No wind, no insects, no cars, just a heavy, ringing quiet. And that's when it hit me, the part I had forgotten, the part she had been teaching me from the beginning. humming. She always hums first as bait. She waits for you to respond. She lingers and goes away when ignored. She doesn't haunt a room or an apartment or a building. She haunts a person. Whoever answers her tune, whoever responds, whoever plays her little game, she follows them. Apartment to apartment, house to house, wall to wall, shadow to shadow, until they hum again. And then she gets closer. We booked a hotel room. Different buildings, different neighborhoods, different walls, different floors. Nothing familiar for her to cling to. At 12 a.m., my friend whispered, voice trembling, "Do you think she can't find us here?" For a moment, the silence felt almost safe. Almost. Then, from the bathroom wall, soft and perfect, the exact tune she always used. Not searching, not distant, confident, close, already inside. My friend backed into the corner, shaking. I didn't move because I understood she hadn't followed us. She hadn't tracked us. She had been with us the whole time. Once you hum back, you don't escape her. You don't outrun her. You just keep hearing her. Every night, every wall, every silence, until the day you hum first. If you ever hear humming through your wall, late at night, soft, slow, like a little girl trying to get your attention. If it comes in a perfect rhythm, 3 notes, same spacing, with a tiny giggle hiding underneath it. Don't hum back. Don't answer. Don't echo it. Don't even breathe too close to the wall, because she only needs you to reply once. One hum. One mistake. One moment of curiosity. And after that, she doesn't haunt your room. She doesn't haunt your building. She haunts you. Every wall you sleep beside. Every place you try to hide. Every silence you hope she doesn't fill. And no matter how far you run, she will always hum you back. It started with a smile. Not mine. His. A man was standing outside my window. On the 6th floor of my building. No balcony, no ledge, nothing for him to stand on. Just air. But he was there, grinning at me with a smile stretched too wide to be human. And the worst part? He waved. Slowly. Like he'd been waiting for me. At first, I honestly thought my brain was glitching. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, even stepped closer to the window. But the closer I got, the bigger his smile grew. Not normal big, I mean cheekbones cracking, gums exposed, grin-splitting big. His skin was pale and completely smooth, like someone erased his pores. And the way he tilted his head, it wasn't curiosity. It was hunger. He lifted his hand and waved again, this time faster, almost excited. My fight-or-flight switch flipped hard. I did the most normal, rational thing anyone would do when a man is floating outside your 6th floor window. I closed the curtains, fast. I backed away, heart punching my ribs, telling myself, okay, cool, no big deal. I'm just hallucinating. Stress, lack of sleep, bad lighting, something. But then I heard tapping on the glass. Soft, rhythmic, like someone drumming their fingers. Tap, 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 tap. 6 floors up. No wind, no tree branches, just him tapping. For me, I grabbed my phone and called my neighbor across the hall, Morrow. He's seen me ugly cry over expired ice cream. He knows when I'm serious. Morrow, someone's outside my window. He laughed. Bro, your window faces a brick wall. The only thing outside is pigeons. Just come look, I whispered. He came, swung the curtains open, nothing, just the empty night sky and the brick wall of the next building. I showed him the picture I took, except the photo wasn't there, just static, gray and fuzzy, and behind the static, a faint sound, a chuckle. Morrow left quickly, too quickly. I sat on my couch, staring at the window like it would blink first. For 2 hours, nothing happened. Then 3 taps, slow, sharp, deliberate. I froze. Tap, tap, tap. My breath got stuck in my throat. I stood, legs shaking, and pulled the curtain open, and instantly collapsed backward because he wasn't standing this time. He was upside down, hanging in midair, face pressed against the glass, grin wider, eyes bulging, head tilted so far it should have snapped, and his breath was fogging the window. In perfect circles, he mouthed something slowly. Let me in. I ran to the bathroom, the only room without windows, locked the door, pressed my back against it. My heartbeat was loud, too loud, and the bathroom mirror was directly in front of me. I stared at my own reflection, breathing hard. Seconds passed. 1 minute, 2. Then, behind my reflection, something moved. My blood turned cold. He was standing behind me, perfectly still, perfectly straight, perfectly smiling, but only in the mirror, not in real life. Just the reflection. Then his head snapped sideways like a glitch, and he whispered inside the mirror, "You looked too long." His voice voice wasn't normal. It was layered, like multiple people whispering the same sentence at once. "Now you're mine." My reflection blinked, but I didn't. I bolted. I didn't even unlock the door gently. I shoulder smashed it open. The hallway was dim, silent, empty. But apartment hallways have something I didn't consider. Mirrors, polished metal on fire extinguishers, glossy picture frames, shiny door numbers, and in every reflection I passed, I saw him behind me. Closer, closer, closer. I didn't dare look directly, just ran down the stairs, skipping 3 steps at a time. I burst into the lobby, gasping so loud, the night security guard, Luca, nearly dropped his coffee. He said, "You saw him, didn't you?" I froze. "What? What do you mean?" He didn't explain. He grabbed his rosary so fast his chair screeched. "Don't look at anything reflective," he warned. "No windows, no mirrors, not even your phone. If you look again, he'll step through." "How do you know that?" I whispered. But before he could answer, the front door's glass began to tremble, like something was pressing against it from the outside. Hard. The door warped. The metal frame groaned. And then his face pushed through the glass, not breaking it, melting it like hot wax. His grin stretched wider as his jaw dislocated with a crack. Luca yanked me backward behind the desk. "Go. Run," he shouted. "He's not here for me." The laughing man's hand slid through the glass, fingers bending backward like broken twigs as he clawed for me. I didn't wait. I ran into the street, but outside was worse, because reflections are everywhere. Car windows, rear view mirrors, storefront glass, dark puddles on the asphalt. As I ran, every reflection I passed showed him, running behind me, faster, closer, sometimes ahead of me waiting. I covered my eyes and sprinted blindly until my lungs burned. I didn't stop until I reached my building again, the one place I swore I'd never return tonight. But the sky was turning blue. Sunrise. Reflections lose their strength in sunlight. At least, that's what I hoped. I hid under my bed, like a child. Ridiculous, right? But it felt safe. Small, dark, contained. Hours passed. No tapping, no mirrors, just the thudding of my heart calming down. Eventually, I fell asleep. When I woke up, my phone vibrated. A message from Morrow. A video. I didn't want to open it. My gut screamed not to, but I did. The video was filmed from floor level, my bedroom floor, and it showed me sleeping under my bed, exactly where I was now. But that wasn't the scary part. In the reflection of my wardrobe mirror, he was kneeling beside me, grinning, watching me sleep. His hand reached toward me in the video and stopped, like he was saving me for later. I stormed across the hall and banged on Morrow's door. He opened it, confused and annoyed. "Why'd you send me that video?" "What video?" He wasn't lying. His face was blank. He didn't remember, just like the laughing man erased a photo from my gallery. Just like he erased himself from any digital record. He leaves no trace except fear. Since that night, things have changed. Every morning, my bathroom mirror is fogged, even when the room is cold. Every night at 3 a.m., my window starts tapping again, and the tapping gets faster each night. Tap, 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 like he's getting impatient, like he knows I'm breaking. Last night, I swear I heard his voice inside the walls. "Just look at me again." And the worst part? I almost did. I know one night I won't resist. One night I'll look too long. And when I do, I'll be the one smiling back at you. "Think you'd do any better?" 3 notes on an empty street. He answered before I finished the first one. Want to know how fast it took my voice? Last night, when I whistled down an empty street, something warm breathed against my neck and whistled back. This happened on Wall Street, the part nobody talks about. The part people pretend isn't even on the map. After midnight, nobody walks there. Nobody drives there. Nobody even looks in that direction. Not because of thieves, not because of strays, but because every once in a while he walks that street, the one who whistles back. They call him the Whistling Man, a tall, stretched out shadow that only appears if you whistle first. If you call him, if you're stupid enough to invite him into your night. I always thought it was just some TikTok ghost trend, a joke, a dare. So, of course, I tried it. I was dragging myself home after a late shift, barely awake, and half the neighborhood was swallowed in a blackout. No streetlights, no houses lit, just the moon, bleeding through torn clouds like it was struggling to stay alive. Feeling quite bold, I whistled. Then I felt it, a warm breath at the back of my neck. I turned around sharply. A whistle drifted down the street, slow, shaking, like someone trying not to sob, and failing. It didn't sound human. It sounded like grief with lungs. I scanned the whole area immediately. At first, I rolled my eyes, thought it was some drunk messing around in the dark. The street was empty, dead still, so I laughed, lifted my head, and whistled the same notes right back. I didn't even reach the final note because something else, something way too close, finished it for me, right behind my ear. Instantly, the whistle snapped back at me, louder, sharper, closer, like someone standing right behind my back. I spun so fast, I nearly slipped, but there was nothing, just Wall Street, stretching out in the dark, long and empty like a dead river. Then something warm brushed the back of my neck. Not the wind, not my imagination. Breath, slow, steady, and waiting. My eyes widened. Then I spun around again. I stepped back, just one step, and that's when I saw him, all the way at the end of the road. Tall. There was nothing right about how tall he was. Limbs hanging like his bones had forgotten where to sit. His spine bent sideways, his neck twisted like it had snapped once and never healed. And only one part of him moved, his lips, slow, deliberate, whistling my tune straight back at me, note for note. I couldn't move. My brain screamed, "Run!" But my body locked up like it belonged to someone else. He didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't take a single step. But every time the dying streetlight quivered, he was closer. Quiver, closer again, quiver, and he was halfway down the street, his smile stretching wider than before. Then his head snapped toward me, a loud, wet crack, like someone twisting a tree branch until it finally breaks. The whistling cut off instantly. Silence, except for my heartbeat, hammering so hard it felt like it might punch through my ribs. And then he started moving, not walking, not running, gliding. His feet dragged behind him like he'd forgotten how legs worked, like they were just props he didn't bother to use. With every inch he drifted forward, the air around me dropped, like the night itself was freezing solid. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. My throat locked shut. My body wouldn't move, wouldn't even shake. It was like something pressed into my mind and whispered, "Be still." Then he raised one long, skeletal finger, too long, and curled it toward himself, slowly, beckoning me to come closer. I don't know why. I actually stepped forward, just one tiny step, but that was enough. He surged toward me, not running, not gliding, accelerating, like something yanked him on a wire. Streetlights behind him burst in a chain reaction. Pop, pop, pop. Each explosion threw him closer, until the whole block collapsed into pitch black darkness, and I couldn't see anything except the sound of his breathing closing in. He stopped right in front of me, so close I could smell him. Earthy, wet soil, like he'd crawled out of the ground just to meet me. He leaned in, and I finally saw his face. No eyes, no nose, just a mouth. A long, carved open smile, stretched unnaturally from ear to ear. Thin, cracked, the corners split, and bleeding like old wounds forced open again. My lungs gave out, my eyes burned. I couldn't even blink. Then he leaned closer, his lips brushing my ear, and whistled. A sharp, trembling note that hit my spine like ice water. My whole body jerked, like invisible hands yanked hard on my nerves. My jaw snapped open on its own. My chest tightened. Air forced its way out of me, and before I realized it, I was whistling with him, perfectly in sync. I tried to stop, tried to close my mouth. Nothing worked. Tears burned down my face as my vision shook and blurred. Then, without his lips even moving, I heard his voice slide straight into my skull. Don't stop the song. Low, cold, commanding, like a hand closing around my throat from the inside. I felt myself tipping toward him, my spine bending like it wasn't mine. My ribs tightening until it felt like they were folding in on each other. My bones didn't feel connected anymore, like something was rearranging me to fit the song. And then, headlights exploded around the corner. A motorcycle engine screamed like thunder, snapping me back to my senses. The rider swerved, horn blaring. For one blinding second, everything went white. And when the light faded, the whistling man was gone. Just gone. Like he'd been erased from the world. The rider skidded to a stop beside me, trembling so hard his helmet rattled. He stared at me like I was something crawling out of the road. He asked what I was doing, standing in the middle of the street, arms hanging like dead weight, eyes rolled back, whistling, alone in the dark. I swallowed hard. My voice shook. Someone was here, I said. He was right in front of me. The rider's face drained to pure white. He leaned in, lowered his voice. There's no one here, he whispered. But you. You were smiling." He paused, breath shaking, too wide, and Creston's. I didn't believe him until he showed me a video from his motorcycle camera. My lips were stretched back unnaturally, my jaw unhinged like a snake. I was whistling so hard, a vein popped in my forehead, but I wasn't scared yet. Not really. Not until I got home and heard the tune again. The same rhythm, soft, hidden, floating under the sound of my bathroom fan, then in my wardrobe, then behind my bed. Everywhere I went, the whistle followed, growing louder each night. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his smile. Last night, I heard a distinct sound on my window, very slow, very patient, like someone testing the glass. I got up, walked to the curtain, pulled it back just a little, and got stunned. He was standing on the 5th floor balcony rail, tilting his head at me, whistling that same terrible tune. I stumbled back, fell onto my bed. The whistle got louder and louder until it filled my entire skull. Then he pressed one long finger against the glass and dragged it slowly downward. Scratch. His grin widened. The glass began to crack. I don't know where I found the strength. I grabbed a pillow, threw it at the window, and ran into the hallway as fast as I could. My neighbors opened their doors after hearing me scream, but when I showed them the window, the cracks were gone. No fingerprints, no marks, nothing, like I had imagined it, except I knew I hadn't. Tonight, I decided to test something. I went back to Wall Street, armed with nothing but a flashlight and my cell phone, and the stupid idea that maybe if I recorded it, I could prove he was real. I stood in the dead center of the road. I whistled the tune again. I barely finished the first note. The exact same whistle hit me back. From the left, from the right, from above the rooftops, from right behind my head. All at once. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Too close, too loud, too many mouths. Then everything went dead. No crickets. No hum from the power lines. Not even my own breathing. Just thick, wrong silence pressing against my eardrums like it went inside. Then I saw him. Dead center of the street. The whistling man. But not just him. Behind him, 20 more stepped out of nothing. Same height. Same broken necks. Same carved open smiles. All of them whistling my song. Perfect sync. No pause for breath. The sound drilled straight into my teeth. My flashlight started strobing like crazy. On, off, each flash showing them 10 feet closer. No steps. Just closer. Every flash closer. He took one step. Every single one of them took the exact same step at the exact same second. Like a glitch. Like puppets on the same string. I stumbled back, heel caught the curb, almost went down. Phone shaking in my hand, footage jerking all over the place. He stopped, raised that long, cracked finger, pointed it straight at me, curled it slow. Come here. My legs locked. Then they moved anyway. One step forward. I didn't tell them to. My own body just took one step toward him, like someone else was driving. I screamed at my legs to run. They ignored me. Left foot forward, right foot forward. Again. Each step heavier, like the road was sucking me in. My knees cracked with every move I didn't choose. My arms dropped dead at my sides, fingers twitching to the rhythm of the whistles. I opened my mouth to scream for help. Nothing came out, just air. Then the notes slid out of my throat instead. Clean, perfect, loud. His voice crawled inside my head again, cold and close. Don't stop the song. And my body kept walking straight toward the pack of them. My mouth snapped open by itself. The whistle blasted out of me, loud, perfect, no air needed. I couldn't stop it, couldn't even choke. His head jerked back, smile splitting wider. Crack, his jaw unhinged, hanging loose like it was only held by skin. A wet pop echoed down the street. Then every single one behind him lifted their arms at the exact same time. 20 sets of long, broken fingers reaching straight for me. No delay, no stagger, just one motion copied 20 times. All pointing, all waiting, all ready to grab. Something tightened around my throat. Not hands. Worse, it felt like frozen strings crawling inside me, yanking my throat. The whistle kept pouring out, louder, never needing breath. I hit the ground hard, knees cracking on asphalt, vision smeared red. Ears screamed with a high-pitched ring that wouldn't stop. My flashlight blew, Glass shards pinged off the road. Bulb popped with a wet bang. Pitch black. Just the whistles. Mine and theirs, all mixing into one endless note. And fingers, real ones now, started brushing my face in the dark. Next thing I knew, the sun was up. I was flat on my back on the sidewalk, cheeks stuck to the concrete. People stepped over me like I was trash. Phones out, filming me, laughing. My phone was still in my hand, red light blinking, recording all night. I stopped the video. Last frame frozen on the screen. A tall shape bent over me in the dark. No face, just a neck twisting, slow, too far. Bones grinding loud enough the mic caught it. Then the feed rips to static, and right before it cuts out, I can hear it. One soft whistle coming from my own mouth, still going. I plugged in headphones, turned the volume all the way up, played the last minute. My blood stopped. It wasn't just my whistle. Dozens of mouths, hundreds, all whistling the exact same notes, overlapping, scraping, way too close to the mic, like they were breathing straight into it and buried under the noise, so quiet you almost miss it. A single voice, dry, dead, happy, whispering my full name. First, middle, last. The name I've never told anyone. Not once. Not ever. It knew me, and it said my name like it already owned me. Now every night is the same. Doors creak open by themselves, slow, 1 inch at a time, even when I deadbolt them. Footsteps walk across my ceiling, heavy, back and forth, right above my bed. Top floor, nothing above me but roof. Worst is when I try to sleep. I'll be half out, then my lips start moving. The whistling comes out perfectly. No air, no effort. I'm awake inside, screaming at my mouth to shut. It won't. My jaw just keeps going. Sometimes I wake up standing in the hallway, still whistling, eyes wide open, facing the mirror, and something behind me whistles back. Tonight, it started again. This time, soft and sweet. Pause. Then it continued. Exact rhythm. Coming from inside my wardrobe, not the hallway, not the window. Inside, the door started moving, 1 millimeter at a time, creaking like something was pushing from the other side. I was paralyzed. Couldn't scream. It kept opening. Slow, patient. A long, pale finger slid out first, curling around the edge of the door. Then another. Then the head tilted out. Same broken neck. Same carved smile. It looked straight at me from the inside, still staring, still smiling. Door now wide open, and the wardrobe is empty. No clothes, no back wall, just darkness, and more of them standing behind him, waiting for their turn. He stepped out, one silent step onto my bedroom floor. Neck cracked sideways, hanging awkwardly. Face stopped 2 inches from mine. No eyes, just that wet, split-open smile. The smell hit me. Cold grave dirt, earthy, with a hint of old blood. His breath poured over my lips, freezing the spit in my mouth. Then his voice scraped right inside my skull. No lips moving. Finished the song. My jaw dropped open on its own. The song started crawling out of my throat again. Loud, clear, happy. I couldn't stop. I still don't know what he wants. I don't know why he picked me, but I learned the hard way that once he hears you whistle, you belong to him. He'll be in every quiet room you ever enter, every dark hallway, every mirror you walk past. You'll feel the warm breath on your neck. You'll hear the notes start in your own throat. And one night, when you're alone, your lips will move by themselves. You'll try to stop. You won't. You'll finish the song. And when the last note leaves your mouth, he'll be there, right behind you, smiling. So yeah, if you ever end up on Wall Street after midnight, alone, lights out, phone almost dead, do not make a sound. Do not hum. Do not tap to a rhythm. And for the love of God, do not whistle, because he's already there, waiting in the dark, between the streetlights, waiting for that first note to leave your lips. One whistle is all it takes. He answers instantly. He follows forever. He crawls inside your throat and stays there until one night you finish the song for him. And when you do, your voice joins the chorus. Another broken mouth, another stretched smile, another whistling man walking the street, waiting for the next idiot to call him. Don't be next. Turn this off right now, because if you just heard the soft notes, it wasn't the video. He's already listening, and he knows you watched until the end. If I knew what that mirror really was, I swear I would have never walked into that house. But back then, I thought it was just a dare, a stupid one. I didn't know I was waking something up. It started after school. My friends and I were sitting outside, talking about local legends, and someone mentioned the basement mirror. According to the rumors, if you stare into it for more than 30 seconds, you won't see yourself anymore. You'll see her, the mirror maiden. My friends dared me to check it out, because apparently I wasn't scared of anything. They were wrong, but I didn't want to look weak, so I shrugged, like it was nothing. That was my mistake. The house wasn't even far, just 3 streets away. Everyone in the neighborhood avoided it because a family disappeared there years ago. No break-in, no evidence, just gone. When I pushed the door open, the whole house smelled like old rain and dust, like memories that didn't die properly. The floorboards creaked with every step, not like creaking, more like warning. But I kept going, because pride is louder than fear. The basement door was half open. Cold air drifted up the stairs. Not normal cold, more like the air was coming from underground or underwater. As I started descending, my phone flashlight flickered. Not battery, not movement, like something didn't want me to see. By the time I reached the last step, the house felt completely silent. Not empty, just silent. The kind of silence that feels like someone is holding their breath. And there it was, the mirror, tall, old, and cracked across the middle, like it had been punched by something inside it. The frame looked hand-carved, faces, vines, figures, twisting around each other like they were alive. I walked closer. Each step felt heavier, like the air got thicker. My reflection looked strange, dimmer, slower, like it didn't want to keep up anymore. I counted to 30 just to prove the rumors wrong. But at 28 seconds, my reflection blinked. I didn't. I tried to back away, but my reflection stayed still. Then its smile twisted, slow and unnatural, stretching wider than a human face should. The crack in the mirror pulsed, like a heartbeat. Then the reflection raised its hand and pointed behind me. I froze. Something moved in the corner of the basement. Soft, slow, dragging steps. My flashlight flickered again. Then I heard it. A whisper. Stay. I didn't wait to see who said it. I bolted toward the stairs. As I ran up, the basement door slammed shut above me. From the outside, the air got colder. My breath turned white. Behind me, the dragging footsteps got faster, like something old was waking up. I threw myself at the door, shoving it open so hard the wood splintered. I didn't look back. Not even once, because every instinct in me was screaming, if you turn around, you won't leave. When I finally stumbled out of the house, the sun was out. People were walking by. Normal life. But something felt wrong. My shadow looked distorted, a little taller, a little thinner, and when I checked my phone camera, my eyes looked slightly off, darker, almost hollow, like something had touched me, like something had followed me. I backed away from the house, shaking, but the mirror in the basement, the crack was glowing faintly, even from the outside window, like it wasn't done with me. That night, my reflection moved again, this time while I brushed my teeth. It mouthed a single word, run. Then, something behind it, a silhouette with long hair and a twisted neck, stepped into view. I dropped my toothbrush and stumbled back, but the reflection wasn't mimicking me anymore. It was watching me, studying me, waiting. I grabbed my jacket and left the house at midnight, hoping that maybe distance would break whatever had started. I walked fast, didn't look at my phone. Didn't check windows, didn't check puddles, didn't check anything that could reflect me. But halfway down the street, I heard it again. That same whisper from the basement, stay. I turned around, and there it was, the abandoned house, the basement window glowing, like someone inside was holding a candle and waiting for me to come back. I swallowed hard and walked away. But the truth? I knew it wasn't over, because I didn't escape the mirror. I just delayed it. Listen, if you think the story ended when I walked away from that cursed mirror, you're wrong. Because that night, the maiden didn't just follow me home. She woke up, and she wasn't alone. Let me explain. The night after everything happened, I barely slept. I kept hearing this weird echo in my room, like fingernails dragging across wood. Not loud, just patient. When I finally got up for school, I noticed deep scratches on my bedroom door, like something was clawing to get out. But the door had been closed. From the inside, my heart dropped. I didn't tell anyone. How do you explain, hey, I think a woman made of shadows is living in my room? At school, things got worse. Every reflective surface, windows, spoons, phone screens, had this lag, like my reflection was moving slower than I was. Then during break, I opened my camera accidentally, and behind me, swear on everything, I saw a second face. Her face, the mirror maiden, smiling. So I shut my phone and pretended nothing happened, because fear makes you stupid like that. Later that day, on my way home, I noticed something terrifying. My shadow wasn't following me. It was walking ahead of me, almost like it knew where we were going. I kept telling myself it was the sun, the angle, anything logical, until my shadow paused, like it was waiting, and then it turned its head toward me. I froze. People around me didn't see it, only me. That's when I realized the maiden wasn't haunting my reflection anymore. She was trying to replace me. At home, I covered every mirror with bed sheets, every window too, except one, the microwave door. While heating noodles, the glass fogged up, and slowly letters formed. Not from inside the microwave, from my reflection behind it. It wrote, "Let me in." I unplugged it immediately. Food still inside. From that moment, I stopped eating in the kitchen. I knew this wasn't going to stop. So I went back to the house where everything started, alone. The basement was colder than I remembered, like walking into a freezer full of memories that should have stayed dead. The old mirror was still there, but now the crack running through it looked like a mouth, like it had been screaming since the last time I left. And when I stepped closer, the maiden stepped forward too, except this time, she wasn't reaching for me. She was pointing behind me. I whipped around so fast I nearly fell. Nothing was there, but the maiden wouldn't stop pointing. Then the room got dark, so dark I couldn't see my own hands. A shape in the corner started forming. Not human, not shadow. Something pale, tall, and shaking like it was glitching in reality. The maiden pressed her hand against the mirror, begging me to understand something. Something I wasn't seeing. She wasn't haunting me. She was protecting me from whatever was behind me. Suddenly, the crack in the mirror split wider. Glass fell to the floor, but silently, like the sound got swallowed before it reached my ears. The maiden stepped halfway out, not fully, like something was holding her back. Then she whispered for the first time, "Do not let it touch you." I didn't even have time to scream. The pale thing behind me lunged. The maiden grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the mirror, her world. And for a second, I wasn't sure which side I belonged on anymore. My vision blurred. Everything went white. When I opened my eyes, the basement was gone. I was inside the mirror, or something like it. Everything looked reversed. Colors were muted, and I noticed something horrifying. There were hundreds of people in there. Not alive, not dead, just stuck, repeating the moment they were taken, forever. The maiden turned to me and said, "You must break the circle before it chooses another." I asked her what circle. I wish I didn't. She pointed at a ring of cracked mirrors floating around us, each one showing a person who had disappeared from my town over the years. Missing kids, gone teens, adults who vanished without explanation. They weren't missing. They were taken to here. And then I saw the terrifying truth. In the last floating mirror, the final one, I saw myself. Not the me standing there, but the me in the real world, walking home, smiling, breathing, living a life I wasn't in anymore. The maiden whispered, "That is not you. It chose you next." I felt my chest go hollow, because it meant I wasn't escaping. If you're still watching, the nightmares have already found you. Subscribe now and follow for more if you dare.